Right, a quick one marker to start this question off. Which one of the following is a religious theory about how the universe began? So it's a which one, it's an identify question. The options are A, the big cloud, I've never heard of that theory, B, creation, C, collision theory, or D, atomic theory. Well, the obvious answer there is B, creation. So I'm just going to write B, creation, and get 1 mark. Probably one of the easier questions, that one. So do it quick and then you can spare some time for the later, tougher questions. Now then, here we have 2 marker. It's a give 2 question. So you don't have to explain these or anything. You just got to quickly say 2 examples of what religious believers might do to help to carry out the duty of stewardship. This one just requires you to know the key term of stewardship, and if you've studied this unit you'll know that stewardship means the duty of care that humans have over the planet or the natural world. We're the stewards, and none of us can take it with us. My generation is only just starting to become sort of world leader age, so soon we'll hand it over to the next generation, and eventually it will get to your generation as well, and hopefully you'll do a better job than what we have done so far. But anyway, enough rambling on about that. Let's just write 2 examples of what religious believers might do to carry out stewardship. By the way, these answers don't have to necessarily be anything totally religious. It could just be recycle all their paper and plastics. That's one thing religious believers might do. And also they might vote for political leaders who will reduce pollution. So again, doesn't have to be specifically religious actions, because religious believers will do these things as well to carry out their stewardship duties. So that goes for most of these 2 markers. Some people find them challenging because they think, I don't know, I'm not religious, I don't know what they would do. But it's the same kinds of things as what everybody would do, religious and non-religious people alike. So quickly write any 2 things like that down and you'll get 2 out of 2. Nice and easy. Now we are on to this 4-mark question, and it is about abortion. So it's religion and life topic. Explain 2 contrasting beliefs in contemporary British society about abortion. So note the word contrasting. They have to be different beliefs. They don't have to be totally opposite, but with an issue like abortion, it's quite easy to keep to opposing views, because then it just helps you know that they're definitely different enough to be contrasting views. So it says in your answer you should refer to the main religious tradition of Great Britain and one or more other religious traditions. So you can say different beliefs within a religion or different religions entirely. Hopefully you remember by learning about this topic, religion and life, what abortion is. It's the termination of a pregnancy before it is born. So explain 2 just means you say 2 beliefs and elaborate on each one and expand on it. So I'm going to say 1 belief, if that it is wrong. I'm going to change that in a minute to is that is wrong. Roman Catholics might say that as life begins at conception, then abortion is similar to murder. So because a human is alive when the sperm and the egg are joined together, that's when they think life begins. So it follows that abortion is murder. Another belief is that it should be allowed in certain cases. For example, if a woman has been raped, then it may be a more loving thing to allow an abortion. Jesus said that you should love one another, and a family might be more loving to support a woman's choice. Okay, so that one's a longer response, but there's still some religious points and development within each of those 2 beliefs. So again, make sure that you've made 2 points and developed each one, and you should be able to get 4 out of 4. Okay, now it is time for the 5-mark question on religion and life, and this one says explain 2 religious beliefs about animal experimentation. So I think this one's quite a straightforward one, because even if you're not sure on the key terms, you probably can work out what animal experimentation is. It's testing on animals. And so you've got to refer to sacred writings or another source of religious belief and teaching in your answer. So as with all of these explained to, you say 2 religious beliefs about animal experimentation and then elaborate and develop each one with some religious teachings or quotes or other ideas about how it's applied. So the first one for me, I'm going to write that one belief is that animals can be experimented on if it is for a worthy cause. For example, if we have to test cancer drugs on lab mice, then Christians might accept this as we have dominion over other animals and can use them to help humans. So it's the Christian principle of dominion over other animals for a sort of worthy benefit. Then you leave a line and then develop your second religious belief about experimentation, which is another belief is that experiments on animals are wrong, I should say, especially if it is for trivial things like testing makeup. Hindus believe in reincarnation, and so an animal has an Atman just like us, so it should be respected. So you can see there 1 point about the worthy cause and then an example and using the Christian principle of dominion. Then we've used the Hindu belief in reincarnation to say that testing on animals is wrong, and because it could be, all life is connected in that way. So you get 1 mark for a point, another mark for development, a 3rd mark for a point, another mark for development, and the 5th mark comes by the examiner just looking at your answer overall and thinking, have they included some religious belief and teaching in there? Yes, we have. So that should be 5 out of 5. Right, the last question on the religion and life topic. And this is the essay 12 marker question evaluation. And this is a bit of a surprise to see that one like this on the religion and life, because it sort of could come up, a similar question could come up in the beliefs paper as well. But it is on the spec that beliefs about life after death are in the religion and life section. So if it does come up in this bit, don't be too surprised. Anyway, it should be quite a good one to evaluate anyway. So what does evaluate mean? Let's just remind ourselves. It's where you give reasoned arguments to support a statement and then support a different point of view. Refer to religious arguments, which you're probably going to anyway if it's about life after death. And you should reach a justified conclusion. So, as always, the statement is, it is not reasonable to believe in life after death. And luckily there's no difficult key terms in there really. You've just got to think, is it reasonable to believe in life after death? And so this one's quite a straightforward evaluation one. What I would do, as always, I always say, write a paragraph that agrees with the statement. Even if you don't agree with it, just write as much as you can to agree with it first. I'm going to say, I agree, because there is no definite proof that there is life after death. The phrase doesn't even make sense, because if you're alive after death, then you haven't really died. Stories in religions about this are not convincing enough, and there are not enough of them happening to make it believable. You could also say that in the Bible, when it says that Jesus came back to life, his followers were just saying that they had seen him, and he hadn't really come back to life. His body was never found. Also, when Hindus say they've been reincarnated, there's no evidence of this. It's convenient that every person forgets their previous life, so there's no way to prove the belief. Also, scientists have never discovered or found any soul-like part of human beings, so there doesn't seem to be any basis of life after death. Anyway, so then when you've made a few points and they've built on those points, and leave a line and move on to another paragraph which argues the opposite. It says that it is reasonable to believe in life after death, or it's not unreasonable. So I'm going to say, however, Many religious people, they hold strong beliefs that life after death does indeed happen. They have faith that God can easily resurrect us all because he's all powerful, so can do anything. It's also reasonable, as Jesus said to a thief, that they would be in heaven when he was being crucified. He also spoke of the afterlife in the parable of the sheep and goats. People have also had near-death experiences where they met God and were told messages to take back to us. Usually they describe similar things like passing down a tunnel and seeing a light at the end of it and all that kind of thing. Past life memories as well. All of these things all add up to there being lots of evidence. And why would all these people be lying? Okay, so then leave another line and make your conclusion. Whatever it is you actually think, just write that. I can't remember what I believe about this. I'm going to say, to conclude, I think there is enough evidence to at least say that life after death is a reasonable belief, even if it cannot yet be proven to be true. Because you never know, it might actually happen. So, anyway, just check after you've read through, or after you've finished your response, that you've made a few points. So I've made the point that there's no proof. It doesn't make sense anyway. The stories aren't convincing enough. You could be making it up and that kind of thing. But lots of people say it happens. It's a matter of faith. Jesus talked about it. There's near-death experiences and past life memories, and all of those kinds of things might make it believable. So as long as your conclusion is justified with a good few points on each side, you should hopefully reach that top level where you develop a reasoned argument on both sides with a conclusion. Okay, so right, we'll move on